we see a lot of before and afters in our Discord. It's flooded with before and afters. And
Yeah.
one of the funny things is, I send you this too, is like, there's some card fixes that you just look at and you're like, oh my God, that's just like, like stuff like that. And like one of the ones that I saw recently was one of our scholars, PokeDras,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
his
Yeah.
lovebirds he
Oh, I
did,
can't wait to talk about
like
this. Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Pull it up.
And yep, there we go. But yeah, it
Come
was
on, pull it
absolutely
up.
insane. But he had this crease on his lovebird, this little micro crease. And he got the crease completely out. And not only did he get the crease completely out, it graded a PSA new Cert 10, which is just wild to me.
Yeah, he was probably running around
Absolutely
the house
insane.
just like, yes! Not even his card. But I'm certain that he was at home just like, fucking, hell. Like, it excites us more than anything for somebody to get a 10 on something like this. I mean, you can see that it starts like right above the 2, and it's nothing major. And I will say, while modern cards are a little bit easier to fix, just because they're just made better, the anatomy of the card is just better. Uh, it's still with that texture. I mean, that's so impressive that
Yep.
he was able to work around that texture and only press what you were saying. He didn't mash it. He pressed in only the crease, and then he raised it up, and now it's perfect.
Yeah. And I think it's good too is, me and you have different approaches like we've said, but if you were to get this card on your bench, how would you go about fixing this card?
It would have to talk to me, of course, but so I make a tool going back to there's so many different things you could do in this industry. I started developing because I'm a glass blower, glass tools I made that spoon that you showed a little earlier, and when Marsh started showing how to get creases out with little dental tools, I was like, I can add to that. When you heat it up, metal has not as good of a heat retention as borosilicate glass does. So I started heating up. I have kind of an example here. I sold all the ones, thankfully, that I've made, but sometimes I just use scrap rods and stuff because I'm a degenerate, and that's how most glass blowers are. We're just little degenerates. And I have just like a little piece of glass that was from some fume prep I was making, and I'll heat up the glass and just slowly, just kind of like peck it in. I kind of like in a forward 45 angle, like a sweeping motion almost, and just
Yeah.
kind of like tap it in. So I'm not drilling super hard in. I have a better control of how far I'm going in, and I have to stop and like reheat it. I mean, I tell people how I get creases out, and I sell this tool, and people will be like, "Hey, I'm having it's taken me a long time." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, it takes a long time. This isn't easy." But I would, get my glass hot. I would kind of start to poke it in, and then I would get my spoon. Mine's in color right now. Uh, and I would just kind of like feather that out. I would make I would hydro pump it again, make it clay. It was
Yeah.
clay to begin with my heavy hydro pumps, and I would just kind of feather that out, with the spoon and like more heat, and just kind of be super careful, take my time, and just kind of try and pull that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then press it and try and get it flat again and dry the card. I mean, like we were saying earlier, it's as hard as you're going to make this. You can reinvent the wheel over and over and over again. And one thing that you really taught me one time, I was struggling with just a dent, just a little peck dent. It was just a little bleh on a Pikachu. And I was trying to reinvent the wheel and try to get real soft and stuff, and it just wasn't coming out. And we just got to go back to the basics. And I ended up just putting a drop of water on there, letting it sit, drying it off, and then I put it in some clamps. I put in some plates with like a screw down clamp, which would be, one of these. I just put it right
Yeah.
where that damage was, and it was soft enough just in that one spot to just kind of even out and then just come back up. It swells a little bit in the plate, and I just replaned it. I mean, and it's as simple as that. Thanks for that tip, by the way. It's like
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that like I knew how to do, and I've done it a million times, and then you start thinking too hard about stuff, and that's that wall that we're talking about. Sometimes you'll hit
yeah,
that wall, and you have to kind of work yourself out off of that wall. It's people message me all the time like, "I swear I'm good at this, but it's just not working." I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah.
you hit the wall. It's the wall, and you have to, yeah, scale back sometimes. Scale back. Stop reinventing the wheel when you don't have to, and scale back." Um,
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the easiest thing, and with modern, I get modern in. It's not, I'm not saying I don't do modern.
yeah,
I just don't
I
do a
get
whole
like
lot of
2 out of
modern,
20.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I primarily do Watts E3 series, but if I was to get those lovebirds in, what I do is like I said, exact same process essentially. Try to get it as much out in a humidor. And what's nice about those weird like micro creases on the edge is, I talked to you about this a while back, is I just get these curved acrylic. I lay the card and I stretch out that card when it's humidified, of course, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And I work it on that curved acrylic plate to kind of teach those fibers to go back. And
Yeah.
every now and then
Part
I'll
memory.
I'll
Yeah.
dry it in a curve. I'll dry it in a curve for a little bit just so it helps stretch, and anyone can get a warp out. It's not hard to get a warp out. So if the card warps in those acrylic plates, the curved acrylic, it does what it does.
Yeah.
I'd rather make a card straight than get a crease out.
Hmm.
But doing that, I've noticed that just helps smooth that whole entire layer out so effectively.
Yeah.
Especially when you get those huge creases that are, over a quarter length of the card. I'm gonna put it on some curved acrylic. I'm gonna work it on the curved acrylic, and I'm gonna get the crease to undo that tension line and spread out. That's all you're doing is undoing tension.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, that's the kind of approach I would have taken with those lovebirds. Is I would have humidored it, worked on the curved acrylic, set it in a curved acrylic for a little bit, recheck, right? Rinse and repeat. And then eventually, if I got to a hydro pump, with modern, I'm really weird. I especially like to use these. I got them these because I think it's hilarious when I get my workstation, right?
Ah, it's
These these bright pink EVA foam, and I like to do all my hydro pumps in EVA foam.
hmm.
Main reason being is if there's not a dent or anything like that, I'm not using Castman, right? Castman I'm using for dents and warps. If I'm doing a crease, I'm using EVA foam because the EVA foam is non-porous, so everything sits there and it forces so much hydration into that card that you're gonna get to a clay state quicker,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You
can,
can hydro pump for like 2 hours rather than like overnight.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like I can work the card an hour, maybe 90 minutes
Hmm.
versus having to wait.
Hmm.
And so I'll do that, work the card, and then do the perpendicular clamps if it's still like kind of there, essentially gone. And then most times I'm getting a crease out. That's if I was to get that card, that's what I would have done.
See, there's different ways
But
to skin
I'm
a cat.
yeah,
I
exactly.
don't have curved plates. I mean, that blows my mind.